Moving on to our next phase, which is our load, is probably our most important position. There's two ways to do this. Number one, I can take a slight weight shift back with my hands first and now stride or step with my front foot, stretching the muscles, gathering to get in an athletic position, ready to fire. Step number two, or the second way to gather your load, is back in the stance, and I can move them at the same time. See where I'm relaxed? I'm going to take the hands back as I gather and move forward with the stride foot, making sure that I'm light with it, but gathering the big muscles, getting back against the back leg, ready to fire. So we don't want to make the load jerk, or we don't want to make the load real fast. Then that's when our eyes are going to move up and down. We just want to gather the big muscles back, getting back behind contact against the back leg, ready to use this backside so that the power and the energy can start from our legs and now start to generate out our body. But if we get in a bad position here, it really hurts us. When you go and look at our drill section, you'll see that a lot of our drills, we start out with striding or loading and stopping. We want to see what kind of position we're in. Are we athletic? Is the weight too far? The weight too far back or forward? Making sure that our head stays in the middle of our feet, power against the backside, ready to fire. And this really helps with our pitch recognition. If we get into a position during the load phase of sitting that foot down and being balanced, able to keep the head steady, the eyes calm, and receive the baseball first to see where it's at before we attack, that's super important. So make sure, coaches, you can use that terminology of stride to balance or load to balance to make sure your players stay under control. I always want to land on the ball of my front foot. I don't want to land hard and flat. That's going to jar my eyes up and down. I want to make sure that I land soft and on the ball of the foot, because the first thing that happens when I start rotation and I start the swing is not so much the backside, but that heel has to land first to give me something, a firm base to hit into, so the back hip and the backside can rotate to be quick to the ball. When they're in the batter's box, tell them to try to use the stride foot and land softly. A lot of times I use the terminology landing on like a dozen eggs, or landing your front foot like an airplane on the runway. We want to keep it soft so when we land, our eyes can stay calm. Try not to get your hitters to jump at the ball and get their weight so far on the front side they can't execute the swing.